It is another very hot day here in Italy. We're at Misano. It's race 2 for the GT4 European Series, powered by Rafa Racing Club. Yesterday's race was an absolute belter. Lots of drama, lots of good racing, lots of fierce battles, 3 full course yellow into safety car periods, all of which helped keep the pack together and helped also for a second win of the year for Michael Schrei and Gabriele Piana, because the third of those safety cars allowed everything to bunch up, and Gabriele Piana was on his toes on the restart. So he will start today's race because, of course, it's one driver, one qualifying session, and the driver that does the session, does the time, starts the race. Other drivers trying to keep cool. Fans in the grandstand are also sweltering. Ambient temperature 30.7 degrees, track temperature 32.2 degrees as well here. David Addison trackside. Gemma Scott is out on the grid topping up her tan, and she's looking to find one or two of the drivers before they have to get into these mobile saunas. Benjamin Lariche, she's with right now.
Benjamin, yesterday's race was a bittersweet, a fantastic start, but a difficult finish. Le fin du course hier, c'était vraiment dur.
Ouais, c'est dur. Bon, on avait fait quand même la pole position, on a mené la course de bout en bout du début à la fin. Après, c'est le principe du sport automobile, en fait. Il y a un drapeau à damier, donc il faut aller au bout, et on n'a pas réussi. On se fait passer à la fin, c'était une manœuvre un peu dure, mais les commissaires ont décidé que c'était une bonne manœuvre, donc on respecte complètement la décision. Et bon, c'était à nous de tenir jusqu'au bout, et ce qu'on n'a pas réussi à faire. Donc on fait quand même deuxième. Ça nous relance malgré tout au championnat, même si l'écart se creuse avec la numéro 2. Qui va très vite, en plus qui part en pneu neuf, et elle a un pneu neuf en plus sur l'arrière gauche là, donc ça va être difficile, mais bon, il faut rien lâcher, il y a encore beaucoup de courses. Là on part en pole position, il faut réussir à concrétiser.
Absolutely. Just a quick translation for our English audiences there, just saying how very difficult the race was yesterday, the manoeuvre that felt a little bit unfair towards the end of the race, but then obviously race control deciding it was absolutely a racing incident and no problem at all, and having to accept that and take that on. And of course, plenty of races left across the rest of the year, so still a fight to go. Et juste encore une petite question pour toi, Benjamin. Le safety car hier, on a eu plein de safety cars. We had a lot of safety cars. With the heat, avec la chaleur, c'est difficile.
Ben, c'était dur, surtout que l'Audi, on va dire qu'elle dégrade un peu plus que notamment la BMW qui était derrière. Et c'est vrai qu'à chaque fois, je recreusais l'écart, et c'était réduit en néant. Donc mentalement, il fallait repartir. Et avec la chaleur, c'est vrai qu'en plus, ça va pas très vite sous safety car, on n'a pas beaucoup d'air. Donc voilà, c'est un challenge, quoi. C'est cool de rouler en Italie. On est content d'être là parce que l'Italie, bon, après la France, c'est le plus beau pays du monde. Mais il fait chaud, quoi. Il fait chaud.
Absolutely, it's hot and it's very difficult with the safety car periods, but it's all right for you. You got your cold vest on.
Yeah.
Have a good race. Thank you.
Merci.
Yeah, yesterday, Benjamin Lariche did the start stint, built up a lead, out came the full course yellow flags and then the safety car, so the gap disappeared and we went racing again, and he tried to build the lead, and then there was another full course yellow into safety car, and then when Robert Consagny, his co-driver, was at the wheel, same thing happened in his stint as well. And on the last lap, Gabriele Piana made a dive up at turns 4 and 5. There was contact. He did hesitate and then made the move at turn 6, grabbed the lead, and Robert Consagny ending up finishing 3rd yesterday because Jagish Gaedik's BMW got through as well. So that was the incident that was being referred to. They led every lap except the last one, effectively, but 3rd place. Still more races to come, and it was still points banked, but a second win of the year for the BMW duo, Gabriele Piana and Michael Schrei, who was absolutely delighted. Gabriele Piana kind of took it all in his stride, possibly a bit fearful of any comeback after the contact, but Michael Schrei was very vocal in his celebrations when the car arrived in pit lane. Let's go back to the grid and a word with one of the Pro-Am winners of yesterday. Audi driver Christophe Amon is with Gemma.
Christophe, you've qualified in 5th for this race, leading the championship as things stand. Mais là, c'est vraiment dur. Le serviette pour essayer de froidisser un peu.
Ouais, il fait moins chaud qu'hier. Greg a eu, je pense, plus chaud au départ parce que c'était 17h30. Donc là, on a des conditions, on va dire, un peu plus clémentes à quelques degrés près. Maintenant, on est très très bien placé sur la grille. On va tout donner pour ne pas se tromper de catégorie, ne pas se tromper de championnat. On est en tête, comme tu l'as dit à l'instant. Donc focus sur le résultat final et non pas overall, comme on n'arrête pas de me le répéter tout le temps.
Well, just quickly translating for our English fans there, the conditions are slightly cooler than yesterday at this point, although it's due to be much harder, much hotter as the day goes on, so we'll see what happens. But the objective there, of course, for Christoph, who's saying, is to look at the race now and look at the end of the season. Gregory, we'll just have a quick chat with you there and talk about the start. Yesterday we saw a little bit of activity just behind the leaders. It was a difficult one, a couple of spinners, a couple of people retiring early on. What are we expecting today?
Well, GT4, it's quite lots of fight during the race. Every race is big fight, big level in Silver Cup. So as Christoph said, we are in Pro-Am Cup, so we need to manage our championship behind the silver driver that's quite really hot behind the wheel. So yeah, we need to manage that and to be focusing our championship in the Pro-Am Cup.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have a great race.
So Greg Gilbert, and you saw Christophe Amel explaining, I need to run, I need to go put my helmet on and get in the car. There's yesterday's winning car. So Gabriele Piana will start. Now he is the quicker of the two, not by that much, but he is quicker than Michael Schrei, and he put it 6th on the grid, whereas Michael Schrei was a bit lower down the qualifying classification at the end of his session. But Gabriele on board then, specialises in GT4 machinery. He's always been very successful in these type of cars, and particularly in BMW. So he's one to watch, I think, over the opening few laps of the race. It's going to be Robert Consani in the Audi that's on pole position, but the racing spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin is alongside. Victor Weyrich has had a win this year with Konstantin Lachenau, but a new co-driver this weekend, Matteo Villagomez, and they share that car, and it is Villagomez that will start. Bekke Bessler in the blue BMW is going to be 3rd on the grid. And amongst the quick Porsches, Ivan Ekelchik, he shares with the very rapid Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Ivan Ekelchik will go 2nd. That gives him time to talk to Gemma.
Even I know we're climbing towards the 1 minute board. We just have time for a quick word. You guys finished P9 yesterday. Feeling positive. I saw you just talking to Miller just now.
I hope we'll have a very good start and Nikolai will make some gap. And for me, I need to not lose the pace and just take it home, it's possible because last race was also good and the car is flying with the race pace, so I hope it will be nice.
Have a great race. Thank you very much.
So Ivan Ekelchik with Nikolai Moller-Madsen. Nikolai, the quicker of the two, more experienced driver as well, and he's always been a bit of a GT4 specialist. He has raced in GT3 but never had quite the same level of success nor the opportunities, but in GT4 machinery, very much a good man to have in your team. Etienne Shelley has had 2 wins in silver this year with the Toyota Supra. This a replacement Supra from the one that they were testing in on Friday, because as the car left the pit lane during the first of the test sessions, another car got it wrong coming out of turn 2, spun through turn 3, which is where the pit exit bleeds onto the track. And minding his own business, the Toyota driver was wiped out by a spinning car, and it did so much damage that they've had to get a replacement, and therefore it's not quite as good, not as well tuned, if you like, as the original car would have been, but at least they're getting some points and trying to salvage the weekend, because they came here, as far as the title race was concerned, in contention, so they don't want to not race. If they can take some points away, then it's better than nothing. They were 5 points behind Piana and Schrei before the weekend started. That margin has grown after the win for the BMW team yesterday. Right, 1 minute board shown. That means the engines fire up. The leading car will be flagged away in a moment, and then the race cars follow suit, ready for the 1 formation lap, rolling start, and then we will be in business. And whether it's going to be as dramatic as yesterday, time will tell. So there, the field, good to go. One or two of the scrutineers still on the grid, just checking that the tyres are correct. They've all got barcodes on them that can be traced to make sure it's allocated to the right car. So there, the leading car is ready to blast away. 15 seconds board shown, and the leading car then will set off. The leading car in this context being there, the pace car effectively at the head of the queue. Another very full entry for the 2 races, 44 cars we have. So flag waves, cars set off, and Robert Consani leaves pole position. And this is the chance to get a bit of warmth into the Pirelli tyres, get the pressures up as well, ready for the start of the race. So Audi, Aston Martin, BMW, and then Mercedes in the top 4 on the grid. So Robert Consani is on pole position, and it is alongside him Matteo Villagomez in the Aston Martin. Third on the grid is Berke Bechler, starting in the Borusan Automotive Motorsport BMW, and it will be Marcel Lennertz in number 4 Mercedes alongside him. Then comes Christophe Amon, the Pro-Am pole position holder alongside Gabriele Piana, then Nikolai Müller-Madsen and Romain Carton starting 8th on the grid. 9th, it will be Simon Thurman's Alpine ahead of Etienne Shelley, then Lucas Meyer and Pavel Lefterov. 13th on the grid, it is Kenny Heremans with Ruben Del Sart alongside him, with Jagish Gaidik on the 8th row alongside Nathan Sharp. Row 9, Alex Denning in the Elite Motorsport with entire race McLaren and Alban Maruti, and winner yesterday lining up alongside. Marc Lopez Gutierrez shares the 10th row with Emil Hayadal, and then it is Alexandre Cugno and Florian Brichet on the 11th row. Row 12, Davide Meloni, who crashed the BMW yesterday. Tom Emerson is alongside him. Marcus Lundstras comes next, Pro-Am winner at Spa, and Hugo de Sandelier is alongside. Then you get Jean-Bernard Bouvet and Jessica Backman, who was in the gravel yesterday. There's Vasily Vladikin and Max Kronberg on the 15th row. The 16th row is Romain Wozniak and Taylor Hagler. And then that is the 17th row, shared by Sergio Porle and another of the Spa class winners, Nicky Leutweiler. Row 18, Alexander Weintraub and Jean-Mathieu Leandri ahead on the 19th row of the experienced Nicolas Gomar, and Cyril Selay is alongside. Row 20, Jordan Wallace, and a car to watch, Alex Papadopoulos in number 15 that he shares with Luc Ibanez. That ran well yesterday. Rodrigue Gion and Florent Grisot are on the penultimate row. On the back row of the grid, Jakub Knoll, who's also normally quite quick, and the redoubtable and very experienced Alain Ferté, 44th after problems yesterday with the Alpine. So that is the order they will be in once the cars turn their way onto the pit straight, ready for the rolling start. And this is the view from on board yesterday's winning car. Gabriele Piana in the Ho4 Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW. Very successful not only in this championship, but in the German GT4 and the DTM Trophy as well, which is effectively 4 GT4 cars. And this, the view from the Toyota, Etienne Shelley at the wheel of the second Supra that the team has run this weekend. The Toyota team coming off that win at Spa, and also having had an earlier win at Paul Ricard, the Swift Racing Events team. 22, Nathan Sharp on the outside there of the white Borusan BMW, which will have Jagish Gaidik at the wheel for stint 1. So now the cars getting themselves into the Noah's Ark formation. They come down towards turn 15. The leading car slows its pace, ready to dive for the pit lane, and then it's up to Robert Consani and the Mercedes driver, the Aston Martin driver, I should say, Matteo Villagomez on the outside of the front row to control the pace on their way up towards the line. Gemma touched on it talking to the drivers on the grid, but the first sequence of corners, turns 1, 2 and 3, that S section, always a pinch point. There can be contact, there can be people off the road in avoidance, so drama almost inevitable down at the first sequence as we are set to go racing. It is the 8th race of the year in the GT4 European Series, powered by Rafa Racing Club. Lights go green, it is blast off. Very good start by the blue BMW Berke Bechler, but it's Consani who will lead the way down towards turn 1. And as the rest of the field funnel their way through, the BMW looking for a way up alongside on the inside at turn 3 and takes the race lead. Berke Bechler goes through. Great bit of driving, and Villagomez is on his toes to try to launch up the inside of Robert Consani. The Audi hung out to dry on the outside line there. You've also got Greg Gilbert in the blue Audi right on his tail. So BMW lead. Good start by Berke Bechler. What about Gabriele Piana? There he goes in the silver and blue BMW on the back of Nikolai Müller-Madsen's Porsche. Out wide runs Kenny Heremans in the Chevrolet Camaro, the white BMW. Jagish Gaidik a little bit further back in the queue. And this is the view then from Etienne Shelley's Toyota as they brake now for turn 8. We had dramas here yesterday with contact between cars during the course of the race. Good Audi fight for third. Not Greg Gilbert, Christophe Amon, I should say, all over the back of the Robert Consani pole position car. So Consani trying to hang on to that third place, but Christophe Amon doing a very good job. Qualified well and making a really good start. Hugely experienced GT4 racer both in this and the French Championship. So the BMW that leads the way, Berke Bechler after a good start from third on the grid. Now trying to build that gap as the sister car there of Jagish Gaidik comes on the outside line to have a go at the Chevrolet. Through Curvoni they come, and as the cars accelerate through turn 13, there you've got Davide Meloni, 53 BMW, repaired after being snapped backwards into the tyres at that part of the circuit yesterday. Race leaders heading up towards the end of the opening lap, and it will be then up front Berke Besler in the blue BMW that leads the way. Some great battles rage on lower down the order as up to the timing line they come. Kenny Heremans goes way wide in the Chevrolet, and it is Berke Besler then who leads at the end of lap 1 from in second spot. Mathieu Gomez, third is Robert Constany, and fourth Christophe Amon. Marcel Lennert is fifth, and Gabriele Piana up into sixth place then, so he's jumped ahead of Nikolai Moller-Madsen, eighth the Alpine of Simon Thiermann, ninth Etienne Shelley's Toyota, and 10th is Romain Carton, as in the background the white BMW of Jagish Geding tries to pull a move against Alban Varuti. The leading Am, 13th overall. Great job this by Alban Varuti, who's taken 6 wins out of the 7 races thus far, some as a solo driver as well. Gabriele Piana on a charge here, trying to get up alongside Lennert as they come down that back straight down towards turn 8. He's got the line on the inside and he goes through. So Gabriele Piana up in a 5th place. Next target, Christophe Amon, the Pro-Am leader. Second in Pro-Am, Lucas Meyer, down in 12th place. Third is Marc Lopez Gutierrez, down in 18th overall. So there's Piana in the ultra-smart BMW. Tightens the line, tries to get up alongside the Audi. The BMW with lots of grunt in a straight line, and here is a straight line. Fast part of the circuit, this. Speed building all the time. Through the kink at Curvoni, they go side by side there. Robert Constany tries to go around the outside for second place. That was brave, and it works. Constany then getting well wound up now, right round the outside, and a very well executed move. Puts the Audi up in the second spot. Great stuff, this. It's all enabling, though, Besler to get away up front. Constantly slightly delayed in his battle with Gomez. Amon fourth ahead of Piana and then Lennert. And Gabriele Piana tries to make a move. Now, Christophe Amon can afford, in a sense, to let him go. They're concerned with Pro-Am points, and Piana is in silver. So, pick your battles here. There's no need for Amon necessarily to get into a fight that doesn't affect points for the championship. Down through turn 1, they go. Behind Piana is Lennert, then it's Moller-Madsen, Thiermann, Shelley, and up to 10th now, Pavel Lefterov. So the race leaders turn out of turn 3, and to the inside line goes Piana. This is where he took the lead yesterday, launches up the inside and moves through on the inside of Christophe Amon, then to go 4th overall. You can see up the road is the Aston. Mathieu Gomez, the next target, so Gabriele Piana hustling on. GT4 European Series always delivers good racing. There are battles everywhere. Nikolai Moller-Madsen in the white and yellow Porsche to the outside line at turn 8. And the black and gold Mercedes with the white back in the hands of number 4, Marcel Lennert, just hangs onto the place. But Moller-Madsen all over the back of him. A very wide approach to turn 9 from Christophe Amon. And it's a wide run through turn 10. So Lennert gets up the inside line. Moller-Madsen tries to go with him. So this is now the fight for 6th, 7th and 8th places. Berke Besler led by 2.5 seconds, and there, almost side by side, to the inside line goes Lennert, to the outside is Amon, and Lennert goes through, and Moller-Madsen seizes the opportunity to try to squeeze up the inside as well in the yellow and white Porsche. Elbows his way through in a sense, because having to run wide over the curb was Amon. Moller-Madsen doesn't make it stick, and so the blue Audi just keeps the place. Now, lead gap to the eye might be a little bit less, and you can see the way that Piana has caught right up to the tail of Gomez as well. So 3rd place is going to change before long. This is the view from Etienne Shelley, who is down in 9th place. Simon Thiermann just ahead. Leaders go through, 1.6 seconds, 3rd and 4th, nose to tail. And on the back of Nikolai Moller-Madsen, Simon Thiermann in the Alpine, ducks to the inside line, can't find a way through. Gentle through turn 2, back on the power out of 3, and then that short straight up to this corner, and that's where Piana tries his now trademark move. Through he goes, nice and clean, and well executed, up in a 3rd place. So that's where he got past Amon earlier on. It's where he got the lead yesterday, and Gabriele Piana picking them off one by one. So that BMW going very strongly here. Berke Besler's BMW, same type of car, different team operating it, has done the fastest lap of the race. Robert Constany, however, has just done the absolute best first sector. He's pulled back hundreds, nothing more than that, but he's doing his level best to get onto the tail of the race leader now. At the top of the picture, going through turns 9 and 10. And Gabriele Piana still carving his way as best he can through the traffic there. The white BMW, Jagish Gedich, who finished in 2nd place yesterday. So, Piana in the silver-fronted BMW comes towards us. And a little bit further down is Alban Varuti going through shot, leading in the AM Cup. 11th place overall is Alban Varuti. In fact, make that 12th now because Jagish Gady could squeeze past him on this lap. You can see the white Borishan BMW just up the road ahead. But Varuti beaten only once this year. Some of the season he has spent with Julien Piguet. On other occasions he's raced on his own. Makes no difference, even with that longer pit stop for being a soloist, he still wins. Over the timing line then, now goes Berke Beschler, and in second spot, Robert Consani, who has now done the fastest lap of the race, and the gap comes down to 1.4 seconds. Third, Gabriele Piana, and he is lapping also quicker than the race leader. Theo Gomez is fourth, Lennet's fifth, Amon sixth, still well clear in his class. The leading Pro-Am is sixth, the second Pro-Am is 21st, Lucas Meyer. So a massive advantage at the moment for Christophe Amon there. Etienne Shelley turns through, still ninth. He's got himself onto the tail of Thurman and then got a bit stuck. So up the road, Alpine. Ahead of the Alpine is the Porsche. Nicolai Müller-Madsen there in the white and yellow Porsche, clearing the lead of the class. And the battle for 7th place is between it's silver this is, Thurman and Shelley. 8th and 9th overall, but 7th and 8th in the class. The interloper being Amon. So there to the outside line. Porsche versus Alpine. Müller-Madsen goes through, and that brings him then back into 7th place at the expense of Thurman. And Shelley is catching up as well in the white Toyota behind the two of them. Incident of contact at turn 3 earlier on in the race being looked at, so the stewards are now starting to get busy, and it may well be as the race unfolds that there are 1 or 2 penalties to be applied. In some cases they might be time penalties to serve at the pit stop. Etienne Shelley on the tail still of Simon Thurman, who has tried his hardest on this lap to get past Nicolai Müller-Madsen, but to no avail. Through turn 15 they come, short straight, past pit in on the left hand side just there, and then brake and set the car up, with the curb being used on the inside for turn 16. Hit that too hard, it will spit you out wide, and again Simon Thurman tries to come up to have a go at the Porsche, goes one side, goes the other as they dive towards turn 1, but Müller-Madsen has the grunt in a straight line, and so the Porsche is ahead, but it goes very, very deep into turn 1, and that compromises turn 2, and it might well be now that Thurman can find a gap on the inside coming out of turn 3 for the next double apex right. Thought about it, but Müller-Madsen knew what was coming and was able to dart across the road and fend off the Alpine. So the Alpine, a very quick car through twiddly bits, lapped maybe here in a straight line, because you can see that it's a real struggle to get past in terms of horsepower, but under braking, that's where the Alpine has a chance, assuming he's not lost too much in a straight line. Now there, Etienne Shelley is in danger of losing the place to Jagish Gady, doing what he did yesterday, catching up little by little, picking cars off and getting the BMW well wound up, and you can see how well the BMs go here. We've now got 3 of them in the top 10. To the outside line goes Gedich then. He wants the undercut if he can coming off the corner, but there's no opportunity there. Down at turn 8, we've had more dramas, so the Caymans getting themselves together at the head of that queue, and around goes number 21. That's the Jean-Mathieu Leandri and Jean-Paul Dominici Alpine from the Chazelle Technologie Course team, which spins itself down the order, and Jean-Mathieu Leandri has rejoined, but in last place effectively, because Pavel Lefterov is in the pit lane in a car that retired yesterday with a puncture and damage, and Lefterov sadly has retired already by the look of it. Helmet coming off, very disappointing weekend for the Overdrive Racing team. Lead gap down to 0.6 of a second, so Robert Consani chipping away now at Berke Beschler's advantage as the BMW comes out of turn 3. And if these two do start to squabble and do start to hold each other up, that's going to play into the hands, of course, of Gabriele Piana behind. His last lap was a 41.5, fractionally slower, actually, than the 2 ahead, even though he's got clear road around him. So Robert Consani down towards turn 8, out of that kink. Piana in the background, certainly escaping now from Mathieu Gomez as they turn up out of the long left. So the top 2 overall, of course, also both silvers. There's silver, there's Pro-Am, and there's AM within GT4 European Series. Here they come. So
car 18, 5-second time penalty, forcing a car out of track.
The voice you hear is the race director, Joël Doval, and the car he refers to is the Marcus Lundstrasse driven Aston Martin, which had a win at Spa, and they're in trouble as well. Number 442, that is Taylor Hagler with his W&S Motorsports car. And that's coming out of turn 5, big wobble. Very impressive evasive action taken by the Mercedes there, trying to jump out of the way. And Taylor Hagler sorts himself out, rejoins, and Alexander Weintraub thinks, phew, just missed him. Right, lead battle then, very much alive, isn't it now, as they come towards the end of lap number 7. Bekke Besler ahead of Robert Consani as they come over the stripe, and then in third place behind them, Gabriele Piana. Now the margin first to second is down to 4/10, second to third, 1.6 seconds. That time Piana was quicker than the two ahead of him. Villar Gomez runs fourth, their fifth is Lennertz, and sixth, dominating his class still, Christophe Amon. Next through, Nikolai Müller-Madsen ahead of Simon Thurman, then it's Jagish Gaidik, and down to 10th, Etienne Shelley, the BMW having gone ahead of the Toyota. And then it's Kenny Heremans in 11th place there in the growling Chevrolet. Simon Thurman again tries to have a go on the inside of Müller-Madsen, but he doesn't quite get the drive out of the corner, so Müller-Madsen is still ahead when they get to the braking point, and Thurman getting ever more frustrated. Not only because he can't get past Müller-Madsen, but he's being reeled in by Jagish Gaidik in the BMW behind him. So Gaidik making short work of the opposition. Didn't qualify brilliantly compared to the sister car. He was 15th on the grid, Jagish Gaidik, but he's picking his way forward all the time. Etienne Shelley not being able to live with them, closes a little bit under braking, but that gap's going to wash out again on the exit of the corner. But he's got a great view of what's going on, and he can see the power the BMW has coming out of turn 10 there. So to the inside line goes Gaidik, the BMW towering over the Alpine, and should be able to go through on the inside line. There's nothing the Alpine can do there. That's sheer horsepower, and the BMW has got loads of it. Through goes Gaidik up into 8th place. Next target of the day, Nikolai Müller-Madsen. And in the background, Etienne Shelley is going to lose another place because Kenny Heremans goes around the outside of the Toyota. So the Chevrolet Camaro getting well wound up as well. Etienne Shelley tries to fight back, coming into turn 15. Can't do it there. So Kenny Heremans making progress forward. The race leaders, half a second betwixt the two. 11/10ths back now is Piana, who, again, on that last lap, that's quicker than the two ahead. So the lead gap is most definitely coming down. Gaidik up to 8th, Heremans up to 10th, and further back, making amends for yesterday's accident, Davide Meloni, running second in bronze, as now Gaidik goes to the inside against Müller-Madsen, and through he goes. The BMW, with all the grunt coming out of turn 3, doing a Piana move, as it were. Find the gap on the inside at turn 4, and Gaidik goes by the Porsche. And that's really frustrating for Thurman because he's tried for lap after lap after lap to get past Müller-Madsen, couldn't do it, and just watches Gaidik catch him, pass him, pull away, and then catch and pass the car he's been trying to get past for 7 laps. Kenny Heremans is the next one there to come up and have a go at the Alpine, using his nimbleness to good effect through the twiddly bits, but this increasingly becoming a power circuit, it would seem, and so the cars with the horsepower, rather than necessarily being good through corners, are those that are going to succeed. Tap in the back of the Alpine by Heremans there. That forces him out a little bit wide, and now Heremans to the inside. Etienne Shelley watches what's happening. Kenny Heremans on the right, on the inside. On the outside line is Simon Thurman, and there's nothing he can do. He's just got to watch the Chevrolet go rumbling its way through, and Heremans also gets onto the tail of Nikolai Müller-Madsen and thinks about a move, does make a move up the curb, side by side into the hairpin at turn 14. And through goes Kenny Heremans. This is a chance for Thurman, and Shelley's trying to buy into this as well. So Kenny Heremans catches and passes, jumps past a lot of them. Great effort this, he was 10th at the start of the lap. Müller-Madsen back up the inside, oh so nearly contact. Heremans turns out of it, runs wide, over the timing line they come, but the Chevrolet stays ahead then. In a straight line, all of that power kicks in, and so Kenny Heremans goes through there in 8th place. Nikolai Müller-Madsen is 9th, 10th. Etienne Shelley and Simon Thurman is down to 11th. The frustration levels rising ever more. Great racing we've had, and as yet, he says, finding anything to touch. No dramas with cars in the gravel bed, and therefore needing the race to be interrupted. Let's try and keep it that way, because there's great battling going on all the way through the field. Bekke Besler still leads, Robert Consani, and the gap has stretched out a little bit overall. Christophe Amon 6th still leads Pro-Am. Alban Moruti still leads Am, and Etienne Shelley goes through. closing up onto the back of Moller Madsen. Now behind Simon Thurman is Alban Varuti. So there, look, the blue and white Porsche leading Am, but running in, if you like, exalted company. 12th overall onto the back of Simon Thurman now, and Alban Varuti thinks about making a move on the inside. That's for the race lead. Besler versus Consani together as they come up now through turn 13, and both of them going way wide out over the curb. Besler goes wide at the hairpin at turn 14. Consani alongside him at the inside line for the next corner, claimed by Besler's BMW. Back through on the inside goes the blue BMW in the hands then of Berke Besler ahead of Robert Consani. To the timing line they come, and you can see how hard Consani is working. That car using more curb, but Piana is almost with them. Consani goes one side and then the other. Besler defends down to turn 1. Consani thought about the outside line at 1, which would be the inside at 2, but it's a risk, so he slots back in, and Piana is nearly with them as well. So Robert Consani, the meet in the BMW sandwich now, coming up towards the turn 4-5 double apex second Rio sequence of corners, out of which it is very nearly 3 for the lead. Robert Consani has got himself back onto the tail of Berke Besler, but as yet can't find a way by, and Gabriele Piana was just fractions behind when they came past the pits, and is faster than both in the first sector. Consani for the lead. Besler fights back on the inside coming out of turn 8. Robert Consani then takes over the race lead. Berke Besler on the outside line up towards turn 9. It's not where he needs to be. He's got to get across the road, which he does. Tries to line up for the inside line. He's up the curb. Consani goes wide. Back through goes Besler. And here comes Piana. He picks off one of the cars. He's going to go for the other. So can he go third to first in one move? 3 wide. Coming down the back straight to Curvoni. Inside Piana. Middle Besler. Outside Consani. Piana leads. Great stuff. Gabriele Piana through into the race lead. Berke Besler held it for the majority of the early part, and Consani held the lead for a corner. So Gabriele Piana hits the front. Yesterday's winner, after a great move, leads the way. And all of this, remember, from 6th on the grid. He's picked his way forward, and so Gabriele Piana comes up towards the completion of lap number 11, clearing the race lead. Well, clear by, and that's Crotchet. He's got Berke Besler behind him. We've got a yellow flag in the middle sector, and you've got Robert Consani in 3rd place. Over the line they come. Again, the Audi tries to use the speed that it had in qualifying to go to the inside of the BM. Nothing doing at turn 1. So, new race leader, Gabriele Piana from the Silver Cup, leads the way. Number 78, which is the Alex Denning, Jack Mitchell McLaren, is the reason for the yellow, and it's around the next corner into turn 6. You can just see it in the distance. So the car has come to a halt rather than having any spin-related drama. And there it is, it's got going again. So the yellow withdrawn, but that means there's a back marker ahead, and it's a troubled back marker. It may be heading for the pit lane, hopefully. Alex Denning is going to bail out of harm's way and let them go through. Down towards turn 8, Piana versus Besler. And look now, the BMW's just getting away from Robert Consani. The Audi in 3rd place has fallen back over the course of the lap. The McLaren keeps to its line and lets the leaders go, which is good to see. And Gabriele Piana versus Berke Besler in 2nd place versus Robert Consani, and the 3rd place Audi just falling away a little bit. And then 4th, look in the distance at the back of the shot. That's where Matteo Villagomez is, ahead of Marcel Lennart. Christophe Amon still 6th overall, comfortably leading Pro-Am, as Nikolai Moller-Madsen there is 9th. Up into 10th now has come Alban Varuti. In fact, Etienne Shelley trying to make progress forward. Yes, he has, because Shelley has finally got past Moller Madsen. So the Toyota has gone by. Ruben Del Sart through, number 5. The Aston that he shares with the quick British driver, Jamie Day. But Alban Varuti, again, doing an excellent job for an AM, because he's there running within the top dozen in the race. And the McLaren has expired once again, look, so this could be electrical. It sort of starts and then expires, and a reset gets it going again. He's nearly made it to the pit lane, but Alex Denning having a very troubled in-lap, and if the car is going to not fire up, I don't think it can necessarily be left there. So the race control team will keep an eye on that. It's coming out of turn 14. It's nearly at pit in. Hopefully it can be given another reset to restart, to limp to the pit lane, as there, Gabriele Piana with now just under 4 minutes to the pit window, blasts down through the kink at turn 7 into Quechua. the long left here. Consani trying to come back at them. He's a little bit closer in the background, you can see, as they swing out of Quechia now, making the run up towards turns 9 and 10. Once more to the inside line. Feints Berke Bechler. So now it comes down to a battle of the co-drivers. Michael Schrei will take over the leading car, and it's going to be the British driver Tom Edgar. We've seen in British GT, in GT4. He will take over the second place BM, and Benjamin Lariche will take over that Audi. So it's still anybody's race. It's going to be very, very competitive in the second stint, just as it is right now, with Bechler coming back at Piana. The two BMWs absolutely nose to tail. The Bonk Motorsport car leads the Borasan Automotive car, 1 and 2. The M4s head now into turn 15. Now, certainly Gabriele Piana, you can anticipate, will stay out a little bit longer than 1 or 2 others, because he's the quicker driver in that car, to therefore give Michael Schrei the best chance of preserving a position in his stint. Robert Constanet and Benjamin Lariche, both quick, both got a pole position yesterday, so we know they should be up there to the very end. And Tom Edgar is certainly not slow. Nikolai Muller-Madsen here coming under attack from Alban Varuti. Varuti will give way to Julien Piguet, another very rapid driver. And drama there, another of the Alpines in trouble. And that car facing the wrong way is Alain Ferté, is it not? So he was a long way back anyway, but Alain has looped it from 30th place. That's in that second sector of the lap, and hopefully he can get that car going to drive away. Sometimes the car's in a spin stall, and there's got to be this sort of 30-second reset, restart procedure, so the race control team will give the driver time to try to get going before any decision is made on neutralisation. Let's see what happened. Oh, he was given a bit of help, wasn't he? And then secondary contact with the Aston Martin. That was rather badly delayed in all of that. That, I fear, was Rodrigue Gillon. So, the Alpine has got going. So the road is clear once more, as now the Mirage Racing Aston Martin of Ruben Delsart at the back of the queue here gets onto the tail of Simon Thurman's Alpine, that's dropped back now into 12th place. That's Ferté crabbing his way back to the pit lane. So that car hopefully won't get in the way. The drivers will see it, and Alain Ferté, massively experienced, he's not going to weave from one side of the road to the other, and there might even be a point where he thinks, no, enough is enough. He's trying to limp it back to the pit lane, but the race is done with that suspension damage. Nikolai Muller-Madsen versus Alban Varuti then, coming up towards the end of the lap, still tied together. There is the car that was involved in that accident, so it is Rodrigue Gillon out of the race. Gillon with that damage to the rear wheel, probably front damage as well after the initial contact that turned around the Alpine. So 2 more cars out of the race, but the race continues unaffected. So there is Piana, race leader. He's on lap 15 now. Robert Consani having another push. He's caught up on this lap, so the gap down again, and it's therefore 3 for the race lead as they head into turn 9. Brake for the corner, turn through. Piana now able to stretch the legs of the BMW. The track limit warnings are coming thick and fast at the moment as you look at the race leaders, and we've got people now, like Romain Wozniak, on a final warning for track limit offences. So patience in race control is running thin. Change for the lead. Berke Bechler back through on the inside, fires it up the inside, heading through turn 13. And that works for him. So Gabriele Piana, having done all the hard yards to chip his way to the front, never able to pull away, and now he's lost that lead. He's got to do it all over again. Berke Bechler up towards the end of the lap. So, led early on, lost the lead, retakes it. And Robert Constantly back into the hunt as well. Constantly goes one side and then the other. But Berke Bechler, having struck for the lead, getting away by a couple of lengths at the end of the pit straight. Let's see whether or not Piana had a drama which delayed him for that move to come. So this is the on-board view as he's about to turn into 13. Bechler has already committed to the line and goes through. Piana gave him racing room, as you would expect from a pro. The pit window was opened, so Villar Gomez is in, Amon is in, Gedig is in, Muller-Madsen is in, and Thurman is in. These two continue their lead battle out on track, with Beke Beschler then back up front. Gabriele Piana tucked up behind him as they come down through turn 8 now. So Piana will want to try to retake the advantage before he brings the car into the pit lane. He's close enough, and now may try to do to Beschler what Beschler did to him a lap ago. Quick exit from turn 10 here, absolutely essential to the plot. Down the back straight, heading to the kink at Curvoni they come, and Gabriele Piana is unable really to make a move. If anything, Beschler is just fractionally faster in a straight line. Use the curve through Curvoni, that's turn 11. Turn 12 a little bit tighter, 13 is tighter again, and then up to the hairpin at turn 14. This section just turns and turns and turns, and each one is tighter than the previous. You see how busy the pit lane is. Stops cycling through. Ivan Ekelchik in the white and yellow Porsche blasts away. Another car serving its mandatory stop there, Alexander Weintraub, to give way to Stanislav Safronov. And Beke Beschler stays out, as does Piana for another lap, as does Consani for another lap. So drivers were fearful of cockpit temperatures pre-race. Well, these three have all worked hard, but they're staying out there, doing a great job. It's a big, big gap between the top three and the new 4th place Mercedes and Marcel Lennart. Of course, the order shuffling now with the pit lane being open. Up towards turn 4 comes race leader Beke Beschler. Now, some of those drivers that have rejoined after a pit stop just up the road ahead, maybe now there's a chance in the traffic for Piana to strike, and one of those cars in traffic will be Jagish Gadik's car there, which he has now handed over to Enzo Juliet. So that's going to buy back places within this stint, but right now has fallen a long way back. Not quite a lap down, but not far off, of course. But remember that it'll get all of that time, or most of that time, back when the sister car, the leading car, serves its mandatory stop as well. 92 seconds line to line is the pit stop minimum time. Again, Piana closing right up, heading into turn 10. But unable to have a go at the leading BMW right there. Onto the back straight they come, down through Curvoni. So you're looking at the Enzo Juliet BMW, and then the next car through should be Greg Gilder, having taken over from Christophe Amel, the Pro-Am leader. The overall leaders and the Silver Cup leaders, the BMWs of Beschler and Piana, still together. And Consani, in this rather elasticated situation, catches in the twiddly bits where the Audi is strong and drops away where the power of the BMW kicks in. Now, they're closing on back markers. Does that prompt the call to bring them into the pit lane? Not this time. Piana on his toes again, dancing to the inside line, trying to unsettle Beschler as they come onto the pit straights. But Beke Beschler hangs onto the race lead. Blue flag being waved to the traffic. Piana pulls out, thinks about a move at turn 1. But he's trying to force an error out of Beke Beschler, who retaliates by cutting right across the front. Over the curb he goes, back marker just ahead. Beke Beschler will commit to the inside line coming out of the corner. Thinks about the inside line, goes to the inside line. Piana goes through as well. So these BMWs, very evenly matched indeed. Coming onto the back straight now, down towards the kink at turn 7. So they've just put the Greg Gilbert Pro-Am, or erstwhile Pro-Am leading Audi down the lap. And as the cars come down towards Quercia then, nose to tail. Still no chance for Gabriele Piana to find a way through, but equally, he's not prepared to dive for the pit lane, try and get the undercut that way. Inside line at turn 10, the drive off the corner, but similar cars, there's nothing gained at all, because actually the Borasham BMW looks the slightly quicker coming out of turn 10. And look, the gap widens as they go down to Curvoni. Up to the hairpin, all back markers ahead. The window only open, of course, for 10 minutes. And we've got about 4.5 of those 10 still to run. So let's see whether either of the two leading cars, or indeed the third place Audi over their shoulder, heads into the pit lane this time. The answer is no, they both avoid pit in, so maximising the amount of time available to them. So there are more cars that have made their mandatory stops than haven't. There are the race leaders down towards turn 1. And Gabriele Piana, curious in a way that he lost that lead rather than be able to build it, having had the pace to catch and work his way through the traffic. That's Consani to give way to Lariche out of 3rd place. Driver out, driver in. And interesting that in some cases it's the outgoing driver that helps with the belts, but not here. It's the mechanics that will do that. Gabriele Piana, a look on the inside at turn 7, but again, no way through. And Berke Besler, with a really impressive stint, having fought back to retake the lead, comes through now up towards the turn 9 right-hander. Again, Piana then dodging out of the draft, trying to get a bit of cool air through the front of that car. He didn't have that issue when he was in the lead, and lost the lead to Berke Besler. So with the sister Borusan BMW up the road, again, Piana puts himself in clear air on the inside line. And the message will get through in a moment to Enzo Juliet that the sister car, race-leading car, is bearing down on you. Gap back down again. Besler still leading Piana in second spot as they come up towards turns 9 and 10. We've got one car being investigated for a short pit stop, and it's Antoine Leclerc, who has just taken over the Alpine number 36 from Jean-Bernard Bouvet. Leaders back together again, nose to tail. Out of turn 15. And Piana bails this time, in he comes. So Gabriele Piana dives for the pit lane, gets to the speed limit line, slows it to 50 k's and crawls down the pit lane. So now Besler gets a free ride for a lap, and without having to defend, might be able to go even faster. But Gabriele Piana gives up the battle then. He got into the lead, lost the lead, surprisingly. And Michael Schrei will take over that car. Now, in the meantime, Benjamin Lariche, already into a stint, presses on. And let's see where the Audi is relative to the BMWs once they have both finished their mandatory stops. Through turn 10 then will come the Robert Consani started, now Benjamin Lariche driven Audi. And actually they've timed this pretty nicely because look, there's no traffic around, so this could be a dummy qualifying lap or two from Benjamin Lariche, whilst Michael Schrei gets set to rejoin, and while we wait for Berke Besler to give the car to Tom Edgar. Door closed, BMW is good to go. There's that long drive though down the pit exit lane. The pit lane bleeds onto the circuit at the exit of turn 3, and there is one of the Allied Racing Porsches that has come to a halt. That looks like the Jordan Wallace Oscar Christensen car, and hopefully that can get going, but if it's a mechanical problem, I rather fear for that. Here comes Lariche then. Here down the pit lane is Michael Schrei, and the Audi comes over the line now. The BMW heading to pit out. Michael Schrei is going to have to be really defensive, even assuming he stays ahead of the Audi. I think the BMW has just got the other side of the line, so it can blast away. So there is Benjamin Lariche, and there Michael Schrei stays ahead. So the BMW now with its second driver ahead of the Audi here with its second driver. So the order is retained, and actually it's still quite a big gap, Schrei to Lariche. But remember, that is the man that took pole position in his qualifying session for race 1. So Benjamin Lariche has got good speed. Down the pit lane comes 44, so the Allied Porsche has got going, as you see. And into the pit lane comes Oscar Christensen to give way, as Michael Schrei's view is this. Now also in has come back Besler. So number 12, Borusan Bian is in, and Tom Edgar takes over number 12. So here, hustling on towards the end of the lap, is Michael Schrei. Remember, 92 seconds line to line, so pit stops are long. And there it is, the Borusan BMW serving its pit stop. So Berke Besler straps in Tom Edgar, gives any word of advice. Probably says you're going to have a real battle here because Schrei and Lariche will be with you. But for the moment, the gap eked out on the pit stops is being preserved. The pit stop time for the Bonk Motorsport team was 92.4 seconds, and it was 92.6 for the Team Speed Car Audi. We'll see what it is in a moment for the Borusan BMW, which is ready to go. Clock ticks on down as there through goes Michael Schrei. And as he comes out of turn 3, accelerating now up to turns 4 and 5. That car retains its lead, but only just. So Tom Edgar ahead of Michael Schrei, Lariche third, and this is the lap on which Schrei needs to strike. Edgar trying to get himself up to speed, get a feel for the track, a feel for the car, and he's got to defend as well. Nose to tail, just as they were at the end of stint 1, same order. Borosan BMW from the Bonk BMW, but different drivers. Edgar versus Try, and Michael Try lines up to have a move on the inside line, can't do it. Tom Edgar defends very nicely. Heads up towards turns 9 and 10. Gap on the inside, tries to make the move there. Door closed, tap in the back. Michael Try gives a helping hand to Tom Edgar, that unsettles him. Edgar goes a little bit wider out of the corner, but Try wisely doesn't attack coming off the turn for fear of being reprimanded for gaining an advantage. So lets Edgar go, at least for the moment. But the Borosan car, just as we saw in that first stint, does seem to be quicker through Curvoni and down towards turns 12, 13 and 14. It was where it retook the lead, and it's where it's been able to stretch the margin over the number 2 BMW. Time has flown, 23 minutes to go. Pit window is now closed. And it's been probably one of the best weekends of GT4 racing we've had, because it's been dramatic, but thus far, this race particularly, very clean indeed, no interruptions. Right, Try, goes to the outside, goes to the inside, still does not have the grunt in a straight line though, against the similar car of Tom Edgar, who hangs on to the advantage. But Tom Edgar maybe a little bit deep in turn 2. Try looks to tighten the line coming out of turn 3. Gets up the inside line here, right across the front, chops Edgar. Try saw it coming, goes to the outside line. And these two, if they carry on squabbling, not only are they in danger of making contact, there's a spin up the road ahead. They just dodge around that, but they're also in danger of being caught by Benjamin Lariche, who is there in 3rd spot. So very nearly contact between the BMWs. Then they had to navigate a car that was mid-spin coming out of turn 5. What else will this lap throw at them? 22 minutes are on the clock, down to turn 8 now. So Try quick through turn 8. Wants to get himself back ahead of Tom Edgar, but now that Tom's had a lap and a half or so to feel his way in, it's going to be harder to get past. There was a gap on the inside there. Is Try going to commit to it? He tries, but again, watch the drive that Borosan run BMW has off the corner. Stare at the back of it, and then you start to see a little bit more and a little bit more as it pulls away. Try looks at the inside line into Curvoni, but he's not close enough there to make that move. The spinner was Julien Piguet, so that's just lost them the AM lead, incidentally, in number 10, Porsche. Up the curb go the 2 BMWs. Edgar leading Try. Can they do the double here? The Hoffel Racing by Motorsports entry comes down towards turn 15 now. 21 minutes on the clock, and Try perhaps running out of options. Piana tried everything and couldn't retake the lead from Beke Bejler, and it's the same situation now. Edgar ahead of Try, the co-drivers. Now look at Lariche in 3rd place. His last lap quicker than the 2 ahead of him, so he's catching back up. And this is another reason why Try is determined to try to get past as soon as he possibly can before he gets caught by the Audi and is in danger of losing a place rather than gaining one. The BMWs are together coming up towards turns 4 and 5. And this, again, Michael Try's view. His father Wolfgang Try, very successful Porsche racer in the 1990s. And as they come down into turn 8, Try looks to the inside line, also puts the car in clear air. 72 has ground to a halt, which is the Florent Grisot, Kevin Jimenez GPA Racing Aston Martin, but it's in a safe position. But there's another car, therefore, that is out of the race. The 2 BMWs go up towards turn 10, and again, tight line by Try, but better drive off the corner from Tom Edgar in the lead. This was a lap before, and that was where Edgar chopped across the front, very, very close indeed, as we'd seen externally at the time. And then you'll see coming out of turn 5, the Julien Piguet Porsche go around. They dodge around that. Piguet carries on as well, albeit having lost quite a bit of ground. Out wide goes Edgar. Try looks to the inside line, but again, just not quite close enough to squeeze up the inside. Wants to avoid contact. So here they come, still nose to tail. The great thing about this is that the BMWs run by different teams have been together race long. Doesn't matter who's driving them, the 2 have squabbled virtually since the race got going. So over the line goes Tom Edgar, looking for a maiden win in the GT4 European Series. And there, behind, is going to be Michael Try and Benjamin Lariche hanging on at that 3rd place. Christophe Amon gave way to Greg Gilbert, and 9th they are. They were way, way ahead early on. and are still quite a long way ahead of Antoine Leclerc, now up into second in silver and third in silver. Noam Abramczyk, who retired yesterday with damage, but Greg Gilbert doing what he needs to do, win the class, and if he can do that, it would be a 5th Pro-Am win of the season. Further back in the queue, number 5, which is Jamie Day now, and he is keeping Paul Caupe at bay in the number 110 Alpine, Caupe having taken over from Simon Thurman, but this is for 10th place overall. Rest of the pack streaming towards us. The yellow and white Porsche that's now Ivan Ekilchik. That's fallen back a little bit. Less experienced a driver than his start driver Nikolai Müller-Madsen. Bit of debris, bit of bodywork on the road after earlier dramas. And in bronze, now Max Tresoldi there in the BMW is the category leader. And Julien Piguet is way back, second in 22nd place overall. So Tresoldi has just gone through up into 13th place and hangs on to position coming out of turn 8. So 13th is the AM leader, 22nd is the AM second place car. Big cushion between the two. We're also now getting pit stops investigated, the Hartwig Schacht Porsche being one of them, and also the Bailey Voisin Emil Heyerdahl Aston, another side by side, almost coming out of turn 10. But Max Tresoldi in the BMW able to keep the Aston Martin at bay. That means, therefore, that Louis Meric has to slot back in behind as they come down to Courvony. So 17.5 minutes are on the clock. Number 15, which was started by Alex Papadopoulos and was way, way back on the grid. It started 40th, now has Luc Ibanez at the wheel, and that car has chipped its way up into 21st place, and Ibanez is not done yet. Way out wide goes Edgar. Now, is that going to give Schrei a chance to challenge as they come onto that back straight down to the kink at 7 on towards Quetchia? It doesn't really affect things. If anything, Schrei is now a bit busy having to fend off the challenger Benjamin Lariche. But if Tom Edgar can make a mistake coming onto the back straight, he could make another one elsewhere. Might be the game plan of Schrei, who again takes that much tighter approach through 9 into 10. He brings the gap down, but this is the part of the circuit where the Borusan BMW has the advantage. It's just able to stretch that margin ever so slightly. And with Schrei being stuck behind him, Benjamin Lariche is very nearly up with them. So the Audi coming back at the two BMs. Now Schrei is going to be very reluctant to let that Audi go through without a fight, but it might be that the Audi could prise open the door and he could gain a position back off the Borusan BMW. We'll see. So 3 for the race lead, 16 minutes on the clock. And again, on this part of the circuit, the number 2 BMW that won yesterday looks the quicker, but it's in a straight line where the Borusan car has the advantage. So over the line they come. The second of the Borusan BMWs, the white one with Enzo Juliet at the wheel, has just got itself up into 5th place. And there is Lariche who goes through. That's the car that did the fastest lap early on with Robert Constany at the wheel. And rather badly delayed Gael Castelli, who's just come through the middle sector, having had a moment and junked a whole load of places. He was 17th, but will be lower at the end of the lap. Big slide by Schrei. He tries to duck up the inside. That loses momentum, and it brings Benjamin Lariche even closer to him as they come now onto the back straight. So down they turn, but the lead gap, Michael Schrei from him, but they've already long gone around turn 1. Next wave of cars goes through. And Enzo Juliet, having got himself up into 4th, he's got a long way back from Lariche, but he's on the attack. Drama there as Ivan Ekilchik was assaulted. Gael Castelli likewise in the Audi being forced out wide, so that's why he junked a load of time. Ekilchik fights back on the inside of the Alpine. It all got very lively indeed. It was the Antoine Leclerc-driven Alpine on the inside there, getting involved in all the battles, but Ekilchik gave as good as he got, goes back through on the inside. So fierce racing, and 13 minutes to go, and that fierce racing is not done yet with Luc Ibanez in number 15. Makes the move on the inside of Ekilchik coming out of turn 3. He's got the line, he should have the place here under braking, and that gives him 18th. So through on the inside line, 18th now, having started 40th on the grid. Excellent effort this by Alex Papadopoulos in stint 1 and Luc Ibanez now. So So if he heads down into Quetchia, into turn 8, up front, it's still Edgar looking strong. Enzo Julier fourth, moving up the order now with 9.5 seconds before he can think about getting onto terms with Lariche. And here's that lead battle pack coming up towards the line once again. Another Porsche in trouble there is number 30, which tries to rejoin. That's the Hendrik Still Max Kronberg car. It's not rejoining, it's parking. That is day done for Hendrik Still. Big shame, because Hendrik's another very quick driver under normal circumstances. So with 12 minutes to go, there is Michael Schrei hanging on to second place, and despite Benjamin Lariche's best efforts, he's still not quite been able to make a move, but he's close enough now, I would suspect, to be able to start the plan. Schrei hustling on as well, taking the Audi with him, back onto the tail of Tom Edgar. So top 3 overall, they're all out of the silver class, and Schrei gets into the clear air, not necessarily to make a move, but to get some of the cool air through the car, because as it gets hot, it will lose performance. That might be what was happening to the Audi. So Benjamin Lariche may also on occasions drop back. He does so there coming out of turn 8. And this is where Schrei normally has a tighter line, but he's not near enough. He can't think about the move. Brakes for the 9 into 10. Almost tags the tail. Coming off the corner, Morrison BMW drives away again. Big frustration for Michael Schrei, as it was for Piana earlier on. That car just not quite with the pace, arguably, that it had early on when Piana was able to come through and take the lead, because remember, they caught and passed that car once but can't do it a second time, whereas Vesler was able to retaliate and retake the lead. So maybe number 2 has a small problem. The best lap that the car has done is a 41.3, 41.5, the best out of the leading car. Side by side lower back in the traffic. Another place gained coming out of turn 6 for the NM Racing Team Mercedes. Luke Ibanez continuing to push on, and the sister car also still pushing hard. Now, Julien Piguet turns out of turn 8 in the blue and white and black Porsche. Behind him, there on the inside line, about to try to gain a place, Noam Abramczyk. The McLaren is in the pack as well, Josh Ratican. There's the Aston of Andreas Bachmann, and then Philip Vava in the NM Racing Team Mercedes in that queue as well. Denis Bulatov, having got through the traffic, was pulled away, but after a spin, the number 10 Porsche of Julien Piguet may have a problem, because it's lost another couple of places on this lap and might lose another one to Philip Vava in a moment if it's not careful. Here are the leaders coming out of turn 8 once more, and Schrei looks closer this time, but no, there's still a length or so, length and a half in it, up to turn 9. We're into the last 10 minutes, and bearing in mind that all stint Schrei has tried and failed, and for the final few laps of his stint Gabriele Piana tried and failed, it does look as though it's advantage Edgar right now, having taken over from Berke Besler. A maiden victory might well be going his way. And Borissan Automotive, which has been a stalwart, try-hard team within the championship, deserves a race win. I think I'm right in saying it would be a first, but it's certainly going to be a very popular result, because they've been a great supporter of the championship and on occasions desperately short of luck. Antoine Leclerc is being given a driving standards flag. Further back, 9th place, Jamie Day trying to keep Paul Cowapay behind him. So that's the Mirage Aston versus the Alpine behind, and they're both being caught now by Alex Hartwig in the Cayman, run by Allied Racing, as wide goes Day. And Paul Cowapay right on his tail in the Alpine as they brake now and set the car up for turn 13. So 8 3/4 minutes of what's been a really, really good race here at Misano. Still to go. Into turn 15 goes Jamie Day, hanging on to the last place in the top 10 and 9th in silver. Greg Gilver just up the road ahead of him is the interloper out of Pro-Am. To the timing line they come, and you'd expect the Aston Martin to have the advantage over the Alpine in a straight line, but through this next twisty section, the Alpine might well be able to have a go back at Jamie Day. Alexander Hartwig riding the curb at turn 2, right with them as well. Up front, 0.4 of a second, Edgar to Schrei. And again, Michael Schrei closes up through 9, but goes a little bit wide at 10. So straight away the gap opens up, and Tom Edgar is able to build on that down the back straight, as Benjamin Lariche, still sitting there in 3rd place, now makes his effort to come and have a go at Schrei for 2nd spot, but he can't find a way through either. Up to turn 14 they will come. And now Michael Schrei does look a little bit nearer, but is he near enough to think about a move there? The answer is no, still can't do it. Not only has Leclerc, by the way, had a driving standards flag, he's just been given an 11-second penalty for being short on the pit stop, and so has the Stegman Lundstrasse Aston Martin being given a penalty of 12 seconds for being short on the pit stop. 7.5 minutes to go. Schrey's got to push now to hang on to second place and to have any chance at all of retaliating for the race lead. Down they go into turn 1. Slide their way through turn 2 over the curb. This is where a mistake out of the car ahead gives you the ideal opportunity to strike up to turn 4, but Edgar does not make a mistake. He hangs on to the lead. Michael Schrei, more experienced, a BMW driver, right there behind him. Michael Schrei also good in the young timer historic race that supports the Nürburgring 24 hours annually, for example.
Time penalty for short pit stop for car 36, 22, 48, 11 seconds, 18, 31, 12 seconds, short pit stop.
Charles Val gives the information on the short pit stops as the 3 leaders dive again up towards turn 10 here through the second of those 2 right-handers. And look, Lariche getting ever more determined as well now as the race comes towards its end. Tries the tighter line to have a go at Schrei, but Edgar still doing this great job withstanding the pressure. He's never been more than about half a second up the road, it seems, but he's not really done anything wrong. One corner he ran wide at, but largely sponge-like, he soaked up the pressure. And don't forget, cockpit temperatures very, very high indeed. As Schrei dives across the front of Lariche and tries to prise open the door coming out of turn 14, but he still can't do it. Into the last 6 minutes, Edgar a fraction wider there out of turn 15. Can Schrei get the run onto the pit straight then now? It remains Tom Edgar, having raced for the Speedworks team in the GT4 class of British GT for the last couple of seasons, comes down into the right-hander and turn 1, and Schrei 0.397 of a second back. He's mounting another charge, but it's got to happen really on this first part of the lap because the back straight, if you like, out of turn 10, that's where this car seems to have the advantage. So it's going to have to be with a big send up the inside under braking, I suspect, that Michael Schrei makes that move. And the Bonk Motorsport team and the Hoffer Motorsport team that between them run that car, both specialists in BMW, so they'll be very interested indeed to know what it is that Borusan have done to make their car that little bit quicker. Great sound from the second place BMW, closing up under braking into turn 10. Turn right. Tail wags a little bit of Tom Edgar in the lead. Down the back straight, it remains Edgar ahead of Schrei. In the first sector, Schrei had dropped 1,000th, that was all. Behind them, Lariche still pushing hard. Closing up under braking. So 4 minutes and change on the clock. Edgar still doing this fantastic job of hanging on to the advantage. He can't stretch it, so all he can do is think about defending. Comes now into turn 15 again, heading towards the end of lap 32. Great credit to everybody actually in this race that we got this far without the need for a full course yellow or a safety car, despite the ferocity of some of the battles. That Mercedes looks like it's got a deflated front right and or suspension damage as it limps over the line, keeps out of the way, but that might have happened coming out of the last corner because it didn't pit. Leaders together out of turn 3. Schrei close, but not quite close enough. 0.346 of a second the margin when they came over the line. And Benjamin Lariche thinks about a dive up the inside. Is he tempted to do what was done to that car yesterday? Last lap launch, let's see. To the back straight they come. And Tom Edgar, the car just twitches ever so slightly as he gets back on the loud pedal, comes down the back straight. So we've got time for maybe 2 more laps at the end of this, looking at the clock. Through turn 8. And it's Audi closer to BMW than BMW to BMW now. Luke Ibanez, by the way, up into 14th place from 40th on the grid, and he's not done yet. So he's still pushing on, and so is Michael Schrei, who's again on the tail of the leader coming off turn 10, but just doesn't get the drive off the corner. Lariche in the Audi thinks about a move on the inside, but he doesn't have the grunt either. So he slots back in, tries to get a toe, pulls out, goes one side, goes the other. Robert Consony was brave at that part of the circuit earlier, but Schrei now really does have to defend as they come up towards turn 13. Through that tighter right, and then up towards the hairpin at 14. Road loops back on itself. And you can see that Lariche is eyeing up to have a go. Heading up towards the completion of lap 33 they come. Stanislav Safronov's Mercedes has ground to a halt within the turn 1, 2 and 3 sequence, but no yellow flag at that part of the racetrack, which is good to see. So down to turn 1, 2 minutes and 10 on the clock, and so they've got this and one more lap within the time available. So 2 more laps for either Edgar to hang on, or Schrei to challenge for the lead, or Lariche to challenge for second. Schrei again to the inside line. Tries to do a piano move there. That's where Gabrielli has done most of his overtaking, but it doesn't work. And Michael Schrei now running out of options. The team, I suspect, leaving him alone other than to tell him how the time is dwindling, because he is trying pretty much everything. And again, look, straight line speed of the Borosan BMW, so much better than the Hofer Bonk car. It pulls away down the back straight. Edgar a little bit twitchy though into turn 8. Tighter, smoother line by Michael Schrei. That does bring him nearer coming out of turn 8 into the 9-10 double apex sequence now up at the top of the lap. And as they come round the corner, ready to accelerate out of Tramonto onto the back straight, the gap down a fraction, but this is where the Borosan BMW ordinarily has the advantage, and it just edges away, even if only by another 10th or so. It just starts to, again, break any toe, break the spirit as well to an extent of Michael Schrei. Through 12, 13, up towards the turn 14 Caro hairpin. 3 for the lead then, and they're going to come 3 for the lead onto the very last lap. That's going to get underway in a moment as the cars sprint their way now up into turn 16. So this, if it wasn't dramatic enough, is going to be all gloves off now, isn't it? Any one of these 3 could win it. If there's anything left in the tank, as it were, now is the time to use that demon move. Edgar, Schrei, Lariche, that's the top 3 into turn 1. And on his toes, Benjamin Lariche to try to find a way up past the silver and blue BMW. Edgar looks to pull away just a fraction coming out of turn 2. Back towards us then, up at turn 4, and Edgar has got away by another length. Lariche thinks about the inside line, can't do it. Schrei good on the brakes, but he's going to go a little bit deep through the corner, and that therefore means that Edgar is still ahead as they come onto the back straight. Down towards turn 8 then. So for Borosan Automotive, it'll be a long overdue victory, and it'll be a delighted team to celebrate. So the Turkish squad running Turkish driver Berke Besler, the British driver Tom Edgar. The gap's down again though, coming out of 8, only a little and not enough to give Schrei a realistic chance of challenging. Change behind for 6th, Dante Raponge in the Camaro is into 6th place. But now on the back straight for the last time, the gap widens once more, and unless Tom Edgar goes for a look at the scenery, he just has to hang on in there and bring it home after a fantastic stint. This, he has withstood the pressure ever since he got in the car. He's never been more than a second ahead of Michael Schrei, and he's had to defend for all he's worth for lap after lap after lap. And the very talented young British driver has deserved this race win that is 2 corners away. Out of 15 he comes, the short straight to turn 16, and it's going to be a victory in Italy then for Borosan Automotive, for Berke Besler, who did a great first stint, and for Tom Edgar, who brings it home to win the second race of the weekend in the GT4 European Series, powered by Rafa Racing Club. Second, Michael Schrei and Gabriele Piana, and third, Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consony. They're the top 3 in silver. In Pro-Am, it is going to be win number 5 for this car. Christophe Amon started it, Greg Gilbert brings it home. And as they turn now onto the pit straight, another celebration for the 2 French drivers. 9th overall, humbling some of the opposition, and an excellent job done then to win the silver category. The AMs yet to cross the line, but here's a change of fortune.
5-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Car 10 quickly is the Julien Piguet Alban Varuti Am Porsche, well, they lost places anyway. They're going to lose second potentially. Here, having crashed out yesterday, class winner in race 2, and it's 53, Max Tresoldi, who will bring it home, having taken over from Davide Maloney. Checker flag waved. Another troubled Porsche limps over the line. Alexander Hartvig, that car looking low as though it's picked up a puncture late race. One too many curb strike potentially. So there to win Am is Max Tresoldi and Davide Maloney. That's the silver winner and the overall race winner. Tom Edgar, after a fantastic drive. Berke Besler equally deserving of that great effort. And you saw Lucas Meyer celebrating second a moment ago in the Pro-Am category. So Greg Gilbert, Christophe Amon, Pro-Am winners. Second in Pro-Am, Denis Bulatov and Lucas Meyer. And third, Philip Vava and Jakub Knoll, also from the back of the grid in the NM Racing Team Mercedes. Am then won by Max Tresoldi and Davide Maloney. Second, provisionally, Julien Piguet and Alban Varuti. And third, Ivan Jacoma and Nicky Leutweiler. But overall, Tom Edgar, Berke Besler win and are the silver victors from Michael Schrein, Gabriele Piana, and then Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consani third in silver. The green and black Mercedes there, Denis Bulatov and Lucas Meyer's car, which is second within Pro-Am. And there is Tom Edgar arriving at the winner's area. And a very, very good job indeed. So he will be delighted, relieved. The team, yes, I'm going to say understated. That's more a look of, yes, we've done it, rather than ecstasy. But being ushered towards Gemma is Tom Edgar. And I think I'm right in saying that's the first win for the team. Gemma might be able to check when she talks to Tom. But either way, whether it's the first or not, it was a well-deserved victory for one of the stalwart teams. And Tom Edgar's drive, with all of that pressure, just outstanding. So, excellent job done. Berke Besler is on his way, but we'll certainly hear from Tom Edgar. Once he's got his helmet off, he can talk to Gemma Scott.
Tom, the celebrations there, that was really tough, but you held on so well.
Yeah, no, it was good. I really enjoyed the race. I had no radio for my entire stint, so
Really?
it's just driving around a bit lonely, but no, it was good. I think I managed the pressure well and kept the mistakes to a minimum.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy, and the pressure was on you from the number 2 car massively.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how hard it is in that car. It's so not like the UK where I'm from.
Not at all. Here, have a bottle of cold water. Cool down. Congratulations, well done.
There's Scott to his aid. So a very hot Tom Edgar, the Northern Irishman, part of the British Racing Drivers Club's Rising Stars programme, looks after British talent. And if you've got a long memory, you might remember his dad as one of the Formula 4 stars of the late 80s, early 90s, Michael Edgar, who used to do remarkable things in underfunded mondials. But Tom proving to be a very handy GT driver, and a job well done. So let's hear from our Pro-Am winners. They were confident pre-race, and now they are victorious for the 5th time, Gemma.
Boys, congratulations, félicitations, encore, class winners.
Non, c'est super. Écoute, là aujourd'hui, je voudrais vraiment remercier le team qui, depuis jeudi matin, nous a fait une voiture exceptionnelle. Dès le premier tour des pit tests jeudi, c'était une voiture magique. Donc vraiment, on dédie ce week-end, on leur dédie, c'est clair et net à tout le staff. On a une auto magique. On fait pas d'erreur. Aujourd'hui, on fait 0 track limit. Donc c'est top. 51 points sur 52. Que demander de plus?
51 points there is fantastic. And of course, like, you know, to have such a magic car, a wonderful setup, thank you to the team and everything as well. But Greg, that last stint, c'était hyper chaud dans la voiture en plus, mais jamais facile.
Écoute, usually we don't use air conditioning, but we have quite a space in front, space in rear. The second in our category was far away, 40 seconds, 45 seconds, so I didn't take any risk. I put clean, I listen radio. No, just yeah, any mistake, no track limit that Christophe says. So no, we are really happy. The team did a really good job. I think now the championship turn this weekend, so in our side. Thank you.
Congratulations, bravo.
Well done to Greg Gilbert. Celebratory kiss from Christophe Amon. And those two, a new partnership for this year, but a winning one nonetheless. And that's the 5th victory of the season in Pro-Am for Greg Gilbert and Christophe Amon. Now there are a number of cars being looked at post-race. Now I don't think it's going to affect much for the podiums, but we will see. Gemma has rounded up more drivers. Let's go back to the pit lane.
Congratulations, guys. Does that feel good?
Yes, it feels amazing, especially after yesterday crash. The mechanics worked all the night to repair the car, so this is the best comeback. Yes, this is it. Thanks to Max, who drive amazing on the second stints. Thanks to the mechanic again, and thanks to my family, thanks to the sponsor. And yes, we are happy.
Congratulations, you should be, Massimo. I know your English isn't brilliant, but just congratulations.
Thank you very much. I know the word because it's very adrenaline.
A home win.
The first place.
Bye, Max.
Congratulations, boys. Well done.
So, for Max Tresoli and Davide Meloni, who, as he says, crashed yesterday, damaged the car, they fight back to take an AM win. The drivers then now go to the podium, and as they head in that direction, that will give us a chance to have a look at the best bits of a fantastic GT4 European Series race, and more than anything, perhaps, just to make the point that not a single either safety car or full course yellow period. There were dramas, there were people making errors and having the odd spin, but that was a fine race, and it's good to see, because quite often the championship has had a bad press for having a fair few dramas. Let's look at the results then. Tom Edgar and Berke Besler are first across the line from Michael Schrein, Gabriele Piana, with Benjamin Lariche and Robert Consani in 3rd place. Enzo Juliet, Jagish Gedik, 4th also for Vorasan, the winning team. 5th, Marc de Fulgencia and Marcel Lennertz from Antoine Potti and Etienne Shelley. And then in 7th place overall, Greg Gilbert and Christophe Amon coming through as Pro-Am winners. 8th, Dante Reponge and Kenny Heremans from Victor Weirish, who fell away at the end, and Mathieu Villar-Gomez. 10th, Jamie Day and Ruben Del Sart. The other class winner you need to look for, 18th, Max Tresoli and Davide Meloni. So another BMW coming out on top. So we've had them as class winners and overall winners over the course of the weekend. Quite a few didn't make it to the end, but the racing up front was fantastic, no mistake. And good to see, as I keep saying, no interruptions with full course yellows nor safety cars in that race. So the drivers then congregate under the podium. They'll be up there in a moment as the SRO team make sure they've got who they need and they've got the right trophies. And at the same time, of course, the timetable cracks on here. So the French Formula 4 Championship is going to be next, and those cars making their way down the pit lane. Let's look at the highlights of the race now, which began with the Benjamin Lariche Robert Consani Audi on pole position, and Robert Consani accelerating into the lead as Berke Besler jumped up into 2nd spot, and then into the race lead coming out of turn 2. It was a good effort, and he put the BMW ahead for the majority of the first stint as Gabriele Piana chipped his way up from 6th on the grid, found himself 3rd, then 2nd, and then did get the lead. Further back, there was drama in the traffic as around went one of the Alpines, but thankfully more mayhem was averted. And after the pit stops had cycled through, we still have this fierce fight going on. Piana making his way into the race lead early on, but Berke Besler right with him. But Piana hit the front, but then lost the lead again as Besler came diving through on the inside out of turn 13. Once ahead, that Berke Besler BMW was unstoppable, even though there was pressure on Tom Edgar all the way through the 2nd stint. He could not be caught and passed by either Gabriele Piana at the end of his stint or Michael Schrein all the way through his. They were together this close for lap after lap after lap, but there was just nothing that a sideways Schrein could do. So as the cars ran up towards the checkered flag, first win of the season for Tom Edgar and Berke Besler after a fantastic GT4 European Series race. Podium is underway, and this is in Pro-Am we have the drivers for. So third Pro-Am are already there, Jakub Knoll and Philip Vava. Second in Pro-Am we have Denis Bulatov and the second driver Lucas Meyer, and the Pro-Am winners for the Santalok Junior team, Greg Gilbert and Christophe Amon. A very happy Santalok team that's here running cars in GT3 as well as GT4, and the drivers are atop the podium. So the trophies now will be presented, and in the white overalls, the third-placed crew, Jakub Knoll and Philip Vava. Second-placed team on the far side, Denis Bulatov and Lucas Meyer. And the winners on the top step, Christophe Amon and Greg Gilbert. Peter Koren, the racing engineer from Pirelli, is the man handing over the trophies, of course. The cars run on Pirelli rubber, and win number 5 of the season for Amon and Gilbert. So, for GT4 European Series here in Italy, that is the end of this weekend's action, but there's plenty more to come during the 2023 season. For now, though, from Misano, from Gemma Scott and David Addison, goodbye.